Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dear Professor Meloni and dear colleagues, I'm greeting you in my capacity of Vice Dean for International Relations of the Faculty of Theology and Religious Studies at KU Leuven, but my input is also the result of a conversation with the chair of the doctoral program of our faculty, the Vice Dean for Research, Joris Geldhof, who sends his greetings but who could not accept the invitation due to other commitments. We both thank Professor Meloni for his kind invitation to participate in this PhD forum. Different from many other Catholic faculties of theology, my faculty is fully part of the university, and thus it enjoys the same rights and duties, especially the duties we sometimes think, as the other faculties. Since a few years, the doctoral regulations, in fact, with us have been harmonized. So, Katharina, what you are still afraid of has happened already with us. So that the obligatory part of the doctoral program, the Truncus Communis, is identical at all faculties of KU Leuven. But in our case, it went relatively smoothly since they more or less copied the regulations of our own doctoral program. The faculties maintain the right to add some additional rules, but these additional rules may then never contradict the regulations at a higher level, at university level. However, we are quite satisfied about the more generic formation opportunities offered by the Doctoral School in Humanities and Social Sciences, which has its own website, which is being shown every now and then here. Among these are courses on scientific integrity for starting PhDs, seminars on digital humanities, data analysis and data management, but even a course on English pronunciation and intonation skills. They take many initiatives to enhance the well-being of doctoral students, and they also offer career guidance to doctoral students and have a career center, since, as we all know, only for a small percentage of them the next stage will be a successful application for a postdoctoral position and or a position as assistant professors. Those initiatives are met positively by the faculties, who as a result do not have to invest in offering such formations themselves. A critical issue is that applications for a joint doctorate are no longer assessed at the level of my faculty alone, but at the level of the doctoral school. And we have the feeling that the university has become more reluctant to meet each request in this regard positively. It may make a difference whether the requests are made from our side, for example, a future oncologist for whom it is of vital importance to use an expensive scanner which only another university possesses, or comes from elsewhere. One imposes certain exigencies to applications from abroad to also receive a doctoral degree from KU Leuven, for example, to spend at least one semester with us. We still hope to be able to continue the long-standing tradition which we have as a faculty of theology of cooperating with some ecclesiastical institutions in Paris offering pontifical degrees only. In the past, some of their students, for obvious reasons, were able to obtain a PhD from us in addition to the STD offered by their home institutions. Till recently, we fully respected the quality of the guidance offered by the sending institutions and only nominated a co-supervisor from our side and an evaluator at the end of the doctoral process. But maybe in future it will become unavoidable for such students to also spend a semester with us. As a faculty, we remain open to double degrees in principle, since it is an expression of trust in the academic competencies of the colleagues of other institutions. We believe that our students will really be enriched by becoming acquainted with students who have been trained in a different academic environment. One interesting evolution which still pleads to maintain double degrees is that also our Fund for Scientific Research, Flanders, the FWO, has decided to take part in the so-called REEF program, which stimulates the cooperation of professors belonging to 2 or 3 academic institutions. Here it seems evident that the doctoral candidates working on such projects receive a double degree. My faculty is also entitled to offer canonical degrees. And hence, since the start of our theology programs in English in 1968 already, we have formed hundreds of doctors in theology and religious studies all over the world. Being open to requests by bishops and religious superiors in the global south to guide some of their best students towards obtaining a PhD and STD, and afterwards joining the staff of their own formation houses, is part of our ecclesial mission. But we welcome, of course, also many lay students from all over the world. As a result, the Faculty of Theology in Leuven has more than 160 doctoral students coming from 70 different nationalities. This brings me to a second critical issue. We are a bit concerned about the composition of our regional and national governments after the next elections in June. My colleague has already mentioned the political aspect as well. If nationalistic parties would become part of the government, they would, in their educational policy, especially focus on the formation of Belgian students and set limitations to the international cooperations of universities. We are also afraid that as a result of the severe budget control that will be imposed by the EU on Belgium, universities will have to economize further and as a result may have to enhance the tuition fees for international students. Already now we see that there is a substantial difference between the number of international students that are admitted into our programs and the amount of students who effectively enroll at the start of each academic year. Those who were unable to obtain a study allowance often decide to continue their studies elsewhere. Till now, for most programs at KU Leuven, international students pay the same tuition fee than students of Belgium, because the current government is still convinced that the diversity of our classrooms at university level is enriching for Belgian students. And thus, they are willing to invest money in the formation of both groups of students. We hope that the next government may continue the same policy. I end by briefly pointing to another evolution, and that's more, I think, also the resilience part of this meeting, that may have some impact in the format of a doctoral dissertation. Some of our doctoral students are spending much time in trying to find and present data, new data. For example, through visiting archives, doing interviews as part of their qualitative empirical research, or even translating important primary sources. Their research often includes the creation of qualitative and meaningful data sets that may afterwards be commercialized or become part of the public domain. Could this part of their work not also be validated as a substantial element of the doctoral program leading to a PhD diploma? Could the portfolio which is presented for evaluation of their doctoral trajectory not, for example, consist of a number of data sets and a number of scholarly articles? This is an idea which the chair of the doctoral program at our faculty is willing to discuss further with his colleagues from other faculties. So it came especially from my colleague, the Vice Dean for Research. Thank you very much for your attention.